So hey guys, welcome to my Saturday ride this week. One of my Saturday rides. We're gonna do another ride this evening. So originally I'd planned to do a longer ride on snow-covered country roads to get to a conservation area with a beautiful lake, but it was stupid cold this morning. It was like minus 25 still at like 8 in the morning. And I dealt with a bunch of minus 20 to minus 25 mornings on my ride to work this week, so I'm gonna wait a while to see if it warms up, because the predicted high today I think was supposed to be minus 10, but it was like 2:30 in the afternoon. It's just after 2:30 and it's still, according to my Garmin, it's minus 14.4. So I guess that's fairly close to minus 10, but not as warm as they said it was going to get. So I figure, well, I want to do a vlog today. So we're going to go out and ride. We're going to go up the Current River. We're going to go to the top of Current River where the beautiful rapids begin. There's some nice trails to get us there. So I got Dillinger 4 tires on. Normally I would have switched out to Dillinger 5s for trail riding, but because originally the plan was actually to ride mostly on snow-covered roads, I was going to keep these narrower tires on for theoretically less rolling resistance. And also there's probably exposed pavement to deal with, so figured I'd put these tires on that exposed pavement since they're new, as opposed to my Dillinger 5s which have older studs. So I want to damage the studs on that tire less. The conditions aren't very fast, it's feeling slow, so it might take an hour to get to the top of the river. I'm starting this ride fairly late. I think I started at like 2:30ish, and sunset is just after 5. So there'll only be, by the time we get home, probably less than 30 minutes of daylight. Still got a few more days till we hit winter solstice and days slowly start getting longer. But as it is now, when for my commuting to and from work, when I get to work it's dark, and when I get home it's dark. So when I start out my ride home from work, I don't have my lights on, but 20-30 minutes into my ride home from work I turn my lights on. I don't know if you guys hear that click? So I'm getting a click from my drivetrain, so I don't know if it's might be my pedal, because I didn't have any grease at home, so I used chain lube to lubricate the threads, but it might be the bottom bracket. So I bought a new computer, GPS computer. Been using a Polar M450 since I think March of this year, because my Garmin 800, my previous Garmin, just one day died, stopped working after a little more than 2 years. So before that happened, because I was trying to ride the most I ever have in a year, I couldn't go without a GPS device. So I bought that Polar as a backup device, and lo and behold, one day my Garmin did completely stop working. So everything I tried wouldn't fix it. So been using that Polar now, like I said, since March this year, and yeah, I mean, it does everything, the basics that a GPS bike computer is supposed to do. It's track your speed, distance, average speed, all that stuff. But it's missing a lot of features that I got used to having on that Garmin 800. So first off, it's only rated to work down to, the Polar is only rated down to minus 10 Celsius. So after minus 10, you notice the screen gets sluggish. The digits don't change very quickly. And then once you hit minus 20 and colder, which I've already seen a fair bit of this winter, parts of the screen become unreadable and the digits get all pixelated and change really slowly. So I don't know if using it at those temperatures is damaging it. So that's probably the main reason. I think the Garmin 520 and up are rated down to minus 20 Celsius. And they work, my Garmin 800 worked reasonably well down to minus 30 Celsius, which I used it in a few times on my ride to work. I had some mornings that cold. But I guess you could say theoretically that those temperatures might damage the unit. It might have ended the life of my Garmin 800 early. But everybody lately that I've been talking about computers, strangely I've had conversations about computers quite a few times the past few months with people. They all seem to say, well, 2 years for an electronic device is probably what you should expect in terms of lifespan. And like, it got extreme, well, I should say extreme, but lots of use. That Garmin 800 in 2016, I put 669 hours on it. So yeah, got a fair bit of use. But I think I paid $400 for that, which was a decent price in Canada for the 800 at the time. So now with this one, this is kind of the cheapest nice Garmin that you can buy. So I'm not gonna spend money on the expensive ones anymore. So far so good. What else about it? Like, yeah, so I wanted, a Polar has a backlight, but you can't leave it permanently on. On this Garmin, you can permanently leave it on. Since the majority of my riding in the wintertime is pretty much done in the dark, riding in daylight hours like this is actually the exception. So I want a backlight. And I've used it on the 800 for quite a few hours, like 3-hour rides with the backlight on around the minus 20 Celsius area, and it doesn't really use up that much battery life. So that's the backlight, and then the number of fields on the screen, so how many pieces of information. On the Polar, the M450, you can only get 4 fields per screen. This one you can get up to 10. So I have information overload staring me in the face. It's looking beautiful in here. Still snow on the trees. We don't have tons of snow, but decent amount. Certainly makes it feel like winter. So I've been here a few times. I don't think I've ever really shown you this spot. You've seen pictures and bits of video of it. Check out this ice formation here. There's a cliff and the water all runs down and it freezes down here. Totally looks pretty sweet. Nice place to take a picture of your bike. I've taken tons of pictures here. The area I live in is actually world renowned for its ice climbing. We have ice falls, a lot of ice falls in the area. People travel from all over the world to come ice climb here. Most of them are probably about 100k away from the city, but it's world renowned, the area, believe it or not. A lot of foot traffic come through here, but it's still not smooth. It's actually still quite bumpy from the human footprints. See other fat bike tracks here. People have been in here today. Braver than me. Came out when it was colder. Although if you're deciding between a Polar and a Garmin, there are some good things about the M450, Polar M450 and M460. And the main benefit is the unit is always on. It's like a watch. So when you press the start button, it turns on like a watch, so it's always ready. And then you press it one more time, and then it acquires satellites. So it's actually faster to acquire satellites than this Garmin is. Let's do a little bit of downhilling here. So they do horse sleigh rides here in the wintertime. We're in a city park here. So there's a truck that's been through here. I don't know if that's park staff or someone drove in here in the middle of the night. I think there's fencing up to stop that. Oh, here's some ice. Nothing in here. Oh, there's some beautiful pictures we could take here, but procrastinated and started this ride late, so we have to keep riding. We'll take some pictures at our destination. Should take like an hour to get there. Hour from my house. So like, we've been riding for 35 minutes and this is the beautiful stuff I can get to in like 30 minutes from my house. Pretty sweet. Some of the good things about living in a small isolated city is instant access to natural beauty. I'm going to let a little more air out of my tires, smooth out the ride a little. So these are the cheapest studded 45 North tires, so they're fat bike tires. So they're the wire bead. They're only 33 TPI, so the sidewalls are really stiff, and I haven't done any real low pressure riding with these things because I have my Dillinger 5s for that normally. So let's see what these feel like. You let more air out of them. Should be better. At the back. Like because the sidewall is so stiff, I have to let out even more to get it to be compliant. So now let's see what that feels like. Alright, yes, noticeably better, but I can feel the rear tire, sluggishness of the rear tire now because of the lower pressure, but it's a much smoother ride. You might even be able to notice it on the camera. Absolutely gorgeous through here. I know some cyclists who I'm like, yeah, you should try fat biking. And they're like, no, I'm not interested in riding my bike in the winter time. They have no clue what they're missing out on. Some of the most amazing, beautiful things I've ever seen happened on winter fat bike rides. Usually the guys that say that are pure roadies and they have no mountain biking experience or minimal mountain biking experience, so I'm sure part of it is fear, but winter fat biking is actually easier in a sense. The riding actually becomes less technical because when you get a decent amount of snow, it covers everything. It covers all the roots, covers over all the rocks. But it's generally harder physically because of the rolling resistance. And lots of times hill climbing conditions aren't perfectly hard packed. There's less grip, so it can be a real chore to climb. And because it's slower, your hills basically become bigger because you actually take longer to climb physically, time-wise. The physical time it takes to climb is longer, so the hill is longer. You spend more time working. And this section here that we're riding through, like in the summer, is basically unrideable because it's so soft and mossy and swampy, so it only becomes rideable in the winter. And then once we get tons of snow, it's much better. So there is a Strava segment for this whole trail, and fastest time was set in the winter. So there are lots of Strava segments on these trails that the fastest time was set in the winter because the snow covers everything and it becomes so much less technical. All you have to do is pedal. You don't have to avoid shit or choose lines. Yeah, it's really nice through here. So we did, the last video I made was that music video, and we have gotten a little bit more snow since that, so it's kind of refreshed the snow coverage on the trees. So we're at 45 minutes, so yeah, probably 15 minutes or so to get to where we're going. So Cascades, so we left a city park called Cascades and now we're in what's called a conservation area. Oh, sorry, we left a city park called Centennial Park, and now we're in a conservation area called Cascades. So these lower trails here become pretty much pure single track, so these are the best trails we have for winter fat bagging. because they get enough foot traffic that they get hard packed. So our main trail system is probably 300 meters to our left. That's our specific mountain bike trail system, but it's too far for people to walk. Most people don't walk in there. In fact, a lot of people don't even know those trails exist. And there's just not enough fat bikers to make it as beautiful as this. It's actually warmer in here. I thought it was going to get colder as we moved away from Lake Superior, and we're kind of gaining elevation at the same time. I actually expected the temperature to cool off quite a bit in here, but it hasn't. It's minus 14.9. A little bit colder, 14.9 Celsius. Just a bit colder than it was in town. It's really beautiful through here. A little archway for us here. So there's probably fat bikers in here right now, other fat bikers, because I see tire tracks that nobody has put a footprint over. I forgot I was vlogging. So this Cascades doesn't have any big hills in it, but the tough hills that it have are short and steep. My legs don't feel great today. They should feel okay. I didn't really ride hard yesterday. I did 2 hours. I ride to and from work. Combined ended up taking 2 hours. So we got another steep hill here to deal with. So like for the past month, I haven't been doing any hard riding, like interval type stuff. Still been riding a decent amount, but haven't been doing any hard riding, so that power in the legs is noticeably not there. So just this week, I've eased into doing harder riding again. Tuesday I did a workout on the way home, and Thursday I did a workout on the way home, and I'll do a workout again tomorrow. Start building back up. Because even if you don't race, Strava is great for setting fitness goals and trying to achieve goals where they're usually, I mean, to to prove that you've improved, it's to be faster, set faster times. Usually in the summer I get fit enough to take some KOMs in the city. It's getting harder as I get older, and there's always a new breed of young guys. Okay, so I think I'll go over here. I might have to start walking the bike soon. Yeah, so young guys are always fast at the peak of their body's ability to go fast, and mine's on a decline, constant decline. The battery died just as I was trying to finish there. So that's the first battery we used today. It's one of my original GoPro batteries. So now I have a newer generic battery. It should last longer. So that GoPro battery lasted less than an hour. Yeah, so this is unrideable. I want to get to the top of the falls. I have to drive our bike up this mini mountain. So we want to get all the way, see that flat spot up there? We want to go up there. There is actually a trail through the woods in the left, but that goes up there, but it probably has seen less traffic than the foot traffic we're seeing here. This is tougher than I thought it was going to be. I have to get up top there, pushing a bike, which isn't going to be easy. I don't know how safe it is to walk over there. So let's give it a try. Seems fairly safe. Okay, maybe not. Try and get up here. No, we're gonna go back and try another spot right here. On the downside of a frame bag is it makes it difficult to carry your bike because you can't stick your hands under the top tube. Whew. We're still not there yet. Looks like most people gave up and stopped here. We're gonna keep going. Almost there. Almost there. The other thing is, when we got our first big dump of snow, it had rained first, and then that froze. We got some freezing rain, so the coating on these rocks is basically ice underneath the snow. Okay, so actually first I gotta take a leak. All right, unfortunately we had to add some yellow to this beautiful white. Take a drink, Gatorade. All right, so one of the reasons I came up here is because so we're at the top more or less of the most serious rapids and cascades, and the river calms more or less around that corner up there. And once full-on winter conditions, winter cold, we're probably talking January, snowmobiles ride on this top part. So the idea is we'll probably have to do it on a road, because there's a road that goes up, there's a bridge that crosses this river, and at that point there's access down to the river, and we'll be able to ride on the snowmobile trail. So we'll be able to come down as far as the snowmobiles go, which will be cool, and you can also keep riding upstream. I think that'll make a nice vlog. So take some pictures or what? Yeah, so now we don't have much more than an hour of daylight. So we'll go down over here where we got a little more falls action. So you can see it kind of stair steps its way up here. Actually at the bottom there's a swimming hole where people come here to swim. Fortunately, because it's all rock, what do you think stupid people do? They break bottles here. Okay, just got 3 pictures there. Now we have to start heading back. And unfortunately we have to push our bike some ways still. Okay, so we gotta get over there. This looks rideable here, as long as we don't go over the edge. Okay, so I don't know if we're going to be able to ride up these stairs, but we'll give it a try. tire just sinks in between them. You know, the 5-inch tire might do better because it would sink in less since the diameter is larger. More unrideable stairs. Normally the trail beside it is actually worn in by fat bikers, but that hasn't happened yet. You have to take a real strong run up it to make it up. I'm surprised we didn't see anybody down on those rocks, but since we're less than an hour from sunset, that must be why. And it's a weekend, so a lot of people had the day off anyway, so they were here earlier. So it should make better time on the way home because it should be more downhill than uphill. It's beautiful. Over here. Yeah, so this snow that's on the trees, it's going to stay till it melts, till it gets fairly warm, because the beginnings of what's on all these branches is ice. That's why they're all way down like that, because there's ice on there as well. Stick in the eye. Still need more snow to cover some of these roots in here. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Just on the website. This is So we'll probably come do this ride again tomorrow. It's beautiful. Conditions are pretty good. It's safe. Don't have to deal with automobile traffic. Maybe not exactly what we did today, but we're definitely going to come in here tomorrow. And the weather's supposed to warm up tomorrow. I think warmer than -10 Celsius.